The difference between a man who commands respect and one who goes unnoticed often comes down to what's left unsaid. High-value men have mastered the art of nonverbal communication, using subtle body language cues to project power, attract allies, and influence outcomes without uttering a word. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 9 little-known body language hacks that set truly successful men apart from the crowd. These aren't your typical stand-up-straight tips. We're diving into the nuanced techniques that speak volumes in boardrooms, social settings, and everywhere in between. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of powerful nonverbal strategies to instantly elevate your presence and impact. Let's unlock the body language secrets that high-value men have been using to get ahead all along. 1. The Territorial Tilt. High-value men understand the power of owning their space, and they do it with a subtle technique called the Territorial Tilt. This isn't about aggressive posturing or invading others' personal bubbles. Instead, it's a refined way of establishing dominance through slight adjustments in posture and positioning. Here's how it works. When seated, these men angle their bodies about 15 degrees away from others, creating an implied boundary. They might drape an arm over an adjacent chair or spread documents slightly into shared space. When standing, they adopt a stance that's just a hair wider than shoulder width, feet planted firmly. The key is in the subtlety. It's not about taking up excessive space, but rather claiming what's rightfully theirs with quiet confidence. This nonverbal cue sends a clear message: I'm comfortable here, and this is my domain. Practice the territorial tilt in your next meeting or social gathering. You'll likely notice people giving you more respect and personal space without even realizing why. 2. The Freeman Effect, the power of the last consonant. High-value men have mastered the art of vocal resonance, a technique that transcends mere words. By harnessing the power of their voice, they create a lasting impact on their listeners. This isn't about volume or artificial deepness. It's about cultivating a rich, resonant tone that emanates from the diaphragm. These men speak with a natural cadence, using strategic pauses and rhythm to captivate their audience. Their voices carry an authority that doesn't need to shoot, instead penetrating the consciousness of those around them. The key to this technique lies in the subtle emphasis of final consonants, a method famously employed by Morgan Freeman. By giving slight to extra weight to the last letter of certain words, these men create a distinctive speech pattern that commands attention. This approach adds gravitas to their words, making even simple statements sound profound and memorable. It's a skill that, when mastered, can elevate ordinary conversation to the realm of the extraordinary, leaving a lasting impression on all who listen. 3. The grounded gaze. Eye contact is crucial, but high-value men take it a step further with the grounded gaze. This technique is about more than just maintaining eye contact. It's about the quality and intentionality of that gaze. The grounded gaze is steady, unwavering, but not aggressive or staring. These men have mastered the art of looking at others with a blend of interest and calm assurance. They don't dart their eyes around nervously or constantly check their phones. When listening, their gaze is attentive but relaxed. When speaking, they maintain eye contact about 60 to 70% of the time, breaking it naturally to gesture or reference something, then reestablishing it. The key is in the stability. Their eyes reflect a deep sense of being present and unbothered. This gaze communicates confidence, trustworthiness, and complete engagement in the interaction. Practice the grounded gaze by focusing on the space between someone's eyes if direct eye contact feels too intense at first. Gradually work up to more direct eye contact, always maintaining that sense of calm assurance. 4. The power palm. High-value men understand that hands speak louder than words, and they utilize a technique called the power palm to subtly influence perceptions and outcomes. This isn't about firm handshakes or aggressive gesticulation. Instead, it's about strategic hand placement and movement that conveys authority and openness simultaneously. When making a point, these men often use open palm gestures, fingers slightly spread, moving smoothly and deliberately. This openness signals honesty and confidence in their ideas. When listening, they might rest their hands on the table, palms down, fingers relaxed, a subtle sign of being grounded and in control. In negotiations or serious discussions, they might use the steepled fingers pose, fingertips touching lightly, which projects confidence without aggression. The key is to keep hand movements smooth, deliberate, and within the power sphere, the area from your mid-chest to your waist. Jerky or excessive gestures are avoided as they can signal nervousness or lack of control. Start paying attention to your hand placement and movements, consciously incorporating the power palm techniques into your interactions. 5. The selective lean. Proximity is a powerful tool in nonverbal communication, and high-value men have mastered the selective lean to create connection or distance as needed. This technique is about using subtle shifts in posture to signal engagement or establish boundaries. When building rapport or showing interest, these men might lean in slightly, angling their bodies towards the person they're interacting with. This creates a sense of intimacy and focused attention. However, they're equally adept at creating psychological distance when needed. If someone is being too pushy or invading their space, they might lean back slightly, creating a buffer without being overtly rude. The key is in the subtlety and timing of these movements. A slight lean forward when someone is making an important point shows you're engaged. A small step back when the conversation is wrapping up signals that it's time to conclude. Practice the selective lean in your daily interactions, consciously using your posture to enhance your communication. 6. The tempo control. High-value men understand that the pace of their movements speaks volumes about their state of mind and level of control. They use a technique called tempo control to set the tone of interactions and project calm authority. This isn't about moving in slow motion or appearing lethargic. Rather, it's about moving with purpose and deliberation. When entering a room, these men don't rush or scurry. They walk at a measured pace, taking in their surroundings. Their gestures are smooth and unhurried. When reaching for an object or standing up from a chair, their movements are fluid and controlled. This measured tempo extends to their speech patterns as well. They speak at a pace that's easy to follow, with strategic pauses for emphasis. The overall effect is one of composure and self-assurance. It communicates that they're not easily flustered or rushed, and that they're comfortable taking up space and time. Start paying attention to the speed of your movements throughout the day. Practice slowing down slightly, focusing on making each movement purposeful and controlled. 7. The Micron Mimicry. Building rapport is crucial for influence and connection, and high-value men excel at this through a subtle technique called Micron Mimicry. This isn't about obvious copying of someone's gestures or speech patterns, which can come across as insincere or mocking. Instead, it's about minute adjustments in body language to create subconscious harmony. These men might slightly match the energy level of the person they're speaking with, mirror their breathing rate, or adopt a similar posture. They might use similar hand gestures, but with less intensity, or echo the general tone of voice without mimicking specific speech patterns. The key is in the subtlety. These adjustments should be barely noticeable. When done correctly, micron mimicry creates a sense of ease and familiarity in interactions. The other person feels inexplicably comfortable and understood. Practice this technique by focusing on one small aspect of someone's body language at a time, making tiny adjustments to your own behavior to match. Over time, this will become more natural and instinctive. 8. The strategic touch. Physical touch is a powerful communicator, and high-value men have mastered the art of the strategic touch. This isn't about being overly tactile or invading personal space. It's about using brief, appropriate touches to establish connection, emphasize points, or guide interactions. In professional settings, this might be a firm handshake with eye contact or a light touch on the upper arm when making an important point. In social situations, it could be a brief hand on the shoulder when greeting someone or saying goodbye. The key is that these touches are brief, purposeful, and appropriate to the context. They're used sparingly for maximum impact. High-value men are also acutely aware of cultural differences and personal boundaries when it comes to touch. They're skilled at reading body language to gauge comfort levels and adjust accordingly. The strategic touch, when used correctly, can significantly enhance the impact of verbal communication and create a sense of connection. Start by being more mindful of your handshakes, ensuring they're firm and accompanied by eye contact. Gradually incorporate other forms of appropriate touch, always being attuned to the other person's comfort level. 9. The composed contrast. The final body language hack that sets high-value men apart is what we call the composed contrast. This technique is about maintaining a calm, controlled exterior even in high-stress or emotionally charged situations. While others might become visibly flustered, angry, or excited, these men have mastered the art of the poker face with a twist. They don't appear completely emotionless, which can seem cold or robotic. Instead, they allow small, controlled displays of emotion to show through their overall composed demeanor. This might be a slight smile in a tense negotiation or a brief furrowing of the brow when hearing concerning news. The key is that these emotional cues are intentional and measured. This composed contrast serves several purposes. It keeps others guessing, it prevents giving away too much in high-stakes situations, and it projects an air of being unflappable under pressure. To practice this, start by focusing on your facial expressions during challenging conversations. Work on maintaining a neutral, slightly positive expression, allowing only small, deliberate changes to reflect your emotions. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comments section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.